Hello, lovely students. It's your favorite teacher, Miss H, here at school early since we had the delay. But today you're learning about direct and indirect characterization. So you can probably infer from characterization, based off the word that's in it, character, that it's about the characters in the stories we read and their personalities. So even if you never knew the right word for it, we all use characterization every time we read. I bet you've already started to think about Okonkwo and kind of come to the conclusion that he's not that nice of a person. He's not a great character. So characterization is just how an author describes a character's personality. It's really simple. How an author describes a character's personality. And there are two types of characterization. The first is direct characterization. That's really easy. We won't spend a lot of time on that. The second is indirect characterization. That's a little more complicated, and that's what we'll be talking about today. So again, two types of characterization, direct and indirect. So the difference between direct and indirect characterization, and there's a great green poster on the wall that shows this. Direct characterization is when an author tells you about a character's personality. It's very straightforward. You don't have to infer anything. It's when the author just straight up tells you a character's personality. So direct characterization is when an author just tells you a character's personality. Indirect characterization is a little more complicated. Indirect characterization, you have to make inferences. The author doesn't tell you the character's personality, the author shows you the character's personality. So that's the big difference. Direct characterization, the author tells you the character's personality. Indirect characterization, the author shows you the character's personality, and you have to make inferences. So again, direct characterization is super easy. It's just like if the author said, Okonkwo was very mean and angry all the time. The author just straight up, directly told you the character's personality. So we're going to talk about indirect characterization, and there are 5 different ways an author can indirectly characterize a character in the book. And to remember those 5 different ways, we're going to remember the acronym STEAL, and that stands for speech, thoughts, effect on others, actions, and looks. Okay? So 5 different ways an author can indirectly characterize a character in a book, and we'll use STEAL to remember those 5 different ways. And STEAL stands for speech, thoughts, effect on others, actions, and looks. So an author can indirectly characterize a character through their speech. That means through the way a character talks, we can infer what their personality is. So, and you need to write this out in the table. So next to speak, that's how an author shows us a character's personality through the way they talk. For thoughts, that's how an author shows us a character's personality through the way the character thinks. Effect on others, that's how an author shows us a character's personality through the way they make the other people around them feel. Actions, how an author shows us a character's personality by the way a character acts. And then looks, how an author shows us a character's personality by the way they look, by their physical appearance. So I want to give you an example of this for Okonkwo. When we read that Okonkwo makes the people around him feel sad, makes his wife feel angry, and that no one wants to be around us, the author has shown us through his effect on others that Okonkwo isn't a nice person, that he sucks. The author didn't tell us that he's not a nice person, but we can infer, based on the fact that no one wants to be around him, that he isn't a great person. Also, Okonkwo's looks. They say he walked around looking like he was about to pounce all the time. So again, the author shows us through his looks that he's always angry, that he looked like he was always about to fight or beat someone up. The author didn't straight up tell us he was angry, but we can infer that he's angry because of the way the author tells us he looks, okay? So, fill out the rest of the worksheet, and then you're gonna go down, it's the third sheet you have, and you're gonna fill out the Steele worksheet based on Okonkwo. So you're gonna read chapters 3 and 4 and fill out that Steele worksheet based on Okonkwo. And you can look at the example I did and then raise your hand if you have more questions, okay? Get reading. This are some good chapters. You're going to learn a lot more about Okonkwo, and the author, through indirect characterization, is going to tell us more about Okonkwo's personality. Okay, let me know if you have questions.